Get on home, yeah. Get on home, Get on home, yeah. Oh, yeah. Get on home,
The date is the 30th of December 2021, and this is my last hunt of the year. Joining me on this mission is good old trusty compadre Toby Firstlight Hughes. We're heading into the public land to achieve a couple of goals. First is to get Toby a long range kill out past 500 metres, and the second is to shoot a deer from a shooting blind that we have yet to christen. Actually, there's a little backstory about this shooting blind. I was actually given some coordinates to this place from another hunter who said he'd found it while out hunting, and as he was a bush hunter, well, it meant really nothing to him. So armed with the GPS coordinates, we headed into the area to check it out. We found the blind and it looked really good. We hunted it twice and never saw a single bloody deer.
Well, hate to admit it, but that's defeat.
So it pretty much got put on our shit list. But as the year drew to a close, I thought, well, why not just one more shot? As explained in the intro, we're back up to have a crack at the spot that we've reconned many moons ago, eh?
Yeah, well now.
It was 8 months?
Yeah.
8 months ago. So we're going to give it another crack. We were actually going to head into the Ruahenis and go to another one of the honey holes, but we had the yarn and said, we might as well give this spot its last chance before we call it and say it's a shit spot. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. That's not a good way to start the trip, having a preconceived notion that your spot is shit before you get there. But to be honest, prior to this hunt, Toby and I had shot a shitload of deer, and the freezers were very, very full. So I guess the passion and drive to secure some venison was actually a little bit piss poor. However, we did have our 2 goals, which were our focus, so push on we did. How long was that, bro?
2.5.
2.5 hours?
Yeah.
Right. We actually heard some yelling and screaming. Yelling, not so much screaming, eh, bro? Yeah. But we were tracking, looked like 2 sets of footprints come in, and we actually thought they looked like they were heading out. So, but yeah, it's way up on the ridge, so hopefully it's got nothing to do with our blind that's just out there. But we'll like it's 2:45, we'll set up camp and get into some warm gears and head down to the blind and see what we can see. With our tent set up and our gear laid out in preparation for our late evening return, it was time to head down to the blind. As I assembled my rifle and looked out into our shooting area, I couldn't help but think to myself, man, there better be some deer here this time. A deep sigh, then checked both rifles to their safety status and prepared to sit down for an afternoon of heavy duty glassing. Been down here for about an hour and a half. It's just too warm and just windy, so windy. I'll tell you what, man, that wind has to be pushing, I'd say 15 mile an hour over there. Looking at some of those wind indicators, maybe even gusting up to 20, maybe a constant in around about 10 or 11. So we do need tonight should be a generous hold on, a generous hold. Well, as the afternoon turned into evening, the deer decided to show up. Now we're spotting a few deer. Actually, we've seen about 6 all just come out on last light and the clag's coming in. Toby's just lining on one, not that one, another one that's further up. But she's a shooter, I would say, if Toby could see her.
Sector.
So just a quick analysis of Toby's shot. Toby held one gradical left on his crosshair to compensate for the 10 to 12 mile an hour wind. However, looking at the bullet impact, it appears that wind was more likely to have been around 15 mile an hour, causing the shot to drift further back for a kidney hit. Not ideal, but a kill shot nonetheless. Toby's deer's way over yonder. We're going to have to probably do a morning recovery now. Not that it was on the cast to do an evening one. It's a 600 metre shot, so then it's a lot of uncharted territory over there. So we're going to skedaddle back up to the fly and settle in for the night. I hope this rain pisses off. So here we are, back up at the fuddy. I know you really want to know what we're going to have for dinner, so I'm going to tell you. Let's have a look around and look at our smorgasbord. Well, we're going to have one of those. We're going to have bacon mash. We're going to have a bacon mash with a brown onion gravy. Those two are kind of going to go together. And then we're going to have proper bacon, eggs, on wraps. Toby's making coffee as well. You're on there.
Pretty happy.
Oh, mate. What's that? Bacon mash.
Yeah,
Does it smell like, alright?
Smells deadly.
Ooh, bacon mash, bacon and eggs. Aioli, double, triple strength, cappuccino and wraps. Well, that's us. We've had a dirty big fat feed and no movie tonight because I was just a bit tired, and planning our hunt in the morning. Well, our strategy tomorrow is hopefully just probably try and tag one more close proximity to the 600 one, which will make the recovery more fluid, and more efficient. If we can shoot one deer close to the other one, that'll be primo, so won't have us having to split up. But anyway, we'll turn in for the night. No movie because like I said, we're too tired, and we'll see you guys in the morning. Well, camp all cleared up. Head down to the shooting blind. Come on, we'll head down, see how, and get ready for daylight. See if we can't spot our first deer. As daylight broke, it wasn't too long before we picked up our first deer of the morning. These two sitting out at 650 metres. On any other given day, we would have shot one of these deer. However, we were looking for one slightly closer and in line with the deer Toby shot from last night. Talk about bloody picky, alright. Well, how's this for irony? It wasn't too long before we picked up this hind sitting out at 455 metres. Actually, way offline to Toby's deer from the night before, but nice and handy. So, we elected to take a shot. Got him? Ready? One, two. Well, that worked out well. With our second deer down for the trip, it's time to spark up the MSR, make a coffee and have some breakfast. This will be a first for me. I'm going to try this birch and muesli. Looks like it's got all the right, the good juju in it, the good feel. What a place to have breakfast, man. What a place to have breakfast. We had a bite to eat. Now we're going to make a recovery plan. Obviously we shot that deer this morning at 4:45 and 445 meters, not 4:45 in the morning, and that's sitting up on top of that, what we call spar ridge. That's sitting on the top of there, and then Toby's one he shot yesterday is 600 meters that way. So our plan is, well, since he shot the one at 600, guess which one he's going to get. So we're gonna split up, do a double recovery. We've got plenty good comms in it. We'll stay on phones. I fucking just didn't bring the rhino, so but yeah, it's all virgin country for us to scale over, so safety is going to be paramount. We're both carrying PLBs, and yeah, she's going to be a big day. There's no two ways about that. Alrighty, I'm in recovery mode, light order, modulus pack on. Toby's just getting his shit squared away. We're going to head off in slightly different directions, so I'm going to wander down straight off the front of the blind. I've found some wander off down this way, but I got to find a soft ridge to come off, because down in that creek it's like really gorgy. Anyway, 100 meters away from the blind, and the country was looking steep but still quite clean underneath. I was making good time, but just paused in a re-entrant just to gather me bearings and recheck my navigation. So I made it down into one of the creeks, but I really wanted to cut, sort of look that way. The faces are running out there. I wanted to cut the creek that goes along the bottom of it. I think I've got into a re-entrant creek that comes down off our blinds up that way, and it's a leading ridge over there that the blind sits on. So I've come down into the right hand re-entrant of it, and this is the creek that takes it all the way down to the main creek. I sort of got here and I thought, oh shit, that doesn't look too bad, but it's as we sort of get closer to the bottom, it gets more gnarly. As I started to head down, I started to reflect on what knowledge and skill one needs to undertake virgin recoveries just like this. You know, another reflective thought. I'm thankful for my time in the New Zealand military. Always sort of went out the bush with my family and my dad, and that really didn't push the hard yards. In this sort of terrain, we always hunted areas that the old man and the uncles and the kuros knew well. But thanks to the New Zealand military, with the really good navigation courses they do on their basic and advanced, for depending on which unit you're in, confidence in this area, you know, being able to work off topographical maps, and a term they use in the military is being able to relate the map to the ground, which is really important. When you look at the map, how you relating it to the ground in terms of re-entrance, ridge lines, key prominent features of reference. Yeah, I sort of forget about the skills, you know, that I've attained and that I utilise all the time when I'm in the field. Kia ora, New Zealand Defence Force, particularly 1st Battalion. There's that main creek I was talking about. I need to get down to there, up through the scrub, get up onto those faces and see that single spar tree, that prominent spar up there. The deer is about 200 meters up and on that plateau way the f up there. If I could set the time, We shot the deer at 6:30 and it's taken me about 35 minutes to get down here. So just created a waypoint to here to head back up there. That's where I came. That's the ridge with the blind on. So on my way back down to the creek, spotted a clearing up there that I might go investigate. It could be the bottom of a big stony scree, but the place I looked at that I want to go up is just over there. But the curiosity is getting the better of me. I like big open spaces. I want to go have a look. Here you go. Follow the creek up, come up here, and then there's our spar tree, and she's up the top there. We've come all the way up from these tall spar up through here, and the deer's just over here. Wow, there she is there. With the photos complete, it's time to whip that skin off to get access to the back stakes and inspect our shot and bullet performance. The exit wound, and there's a bit of bullet. Back stakes come off nice and easy thanks to my good old R&M Blades helium knife. This little knife is razor sharp and it's bloody handy having a scabbard on a neck lanyard for easy access. I learnt a valuable lesson on a previous solo mission about leaving the bones in. This time, bones out, meat only, reduce the weight. There you go, thanks girl. Time to get a move on. Extraction plan is, instead of coming up the way I came because it was too vertical, sidle along there, over that ridge, jump into what we call Skellington Basin, and then back up. That's the leading ridge going up to the blind. The blind's right up the top of that ridge there. So be a couple of, well, be 2.5 to 3 hours, because that's just gnarly. So taking this alternative route back proved to be very, very beneficial indeed, because I discovered a ton of deer sign on those high faces, and the route appeared safer and definitely faster. Once safely at the bottom, it was time to get juiced up on the old hunt smart before my uphill trek to the shooting blind. The final bonus was the leading ridge up to the blind was absolutely meant to walk up. Not bad. Pretty much a 3-hour recovery. Pack load of any. Anyway, might take 5 here. Rehydrate. Back up to camp, pick up camp, and then bug out. And bug out we did. Packed up camp, on with our bloody heavy packs, and start the long trudge back to the car. I gotta say, when we broke canopy, we felt the full force of a New Zealand summer, with the temperature soaring to 28 degrees. A little trundle down the track, back to the car, and time for outro. Alrighty, so there it is. That's our last hunt for 2021. We did quite a few hunts this year.
Yeah.
Your reflections on this hunt first, and then some thoughts of the year just gone past, bro.
Pretty awesome. Slick Sunday.
Yeah,
Chasing
bro.
that for a long time, bro.
Yeah. That was a good shot.
Yeah.
A little bit of wind drift, but
Yeah.
that was epic, bro. Epic.
Yeah. So that was a big milestone for me.
Yeah.
And then that blind paying off finally.
Yes. After all our bad juju.
About to get the axe, and then they start rolling out, which
Yeah.
is pretty dope. But this year's been pretty crazy, eh?
COVID and all that sort
Yeah.
of shit as well.
Yep.
But you transitioned out of the Kimber into the Savage,
Yep.
or second-hand Savage, and yeah, so finally hit that mark. And after that, that couple of farm hunts we did, the old Savage has got a few kills on it. Eh?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Oh, that's cool, bro. Any shout outs for the 2021 year before we kick over?
Oh, just the family, eh?
Just the family,
Just the
yep.
family, yeah, the green light, yeah, it's
Oh
awesome.
no, I mean, bro, it's been a bloody good year for me. Pretty cool to be part of his journey with his long range game and tagging that one at 600, and obviously cool enough to what one myself this morning. I mean, it was a double team, but the year gone by, yeah, pretty much just taking the time to work with guys like Toby, one of the bros like Toby and Oe and Mr. Dion Heaney, and just sort of guys that are, I'm sort of supporting them, you know, with a bit of knowledge, passing on knowledge around the long range game. So big year to come next year. So no doubt our first video for 2022 will set some goals there, brother.
Yeah, hard. Yep.
Other than that, bro, mean
Good
year, mean hunt. You guys don't forget, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.